Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 11th, and we're back live. Patricia and I were out of town last week. We was our anniversary, 22nd anniversary. We went to New York. We spent some time in Manhattan, and we went to Brooklyn. We spent some time in the Bronx. Listen, we were all over the place. We had a very good time. We were actually staying in Times Square. But anyway, let me get my microphone over here so you can hear me a little better. So, how's everybody doing? If I'm trying to get some folks in here from Clubhouse. All right, and let's see here. There we go. We got some folks coming in from Clubhouse. We have some people here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You definitely want to be here for this particular show because, ladies and gentlemen, interest rates are going through the roof and they're not stopping. They're not stopping. So what can we do about it? What can we do about it? So listen, come to the stage. If you're here in Clubhouse, come to the stage so that we can talk about it. If you're online, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, come on over, step up to the plate. Let's say good morning to everybody. And if you have a question about any of this, that interest rates are going through the roof and you want to know more about it, please come to the stage. Let's talk about it today. Don't just sit there. Don't just pull in the information and listen, but I need you to be involved in the conversation today. So do this for me. If you're here in Clubhouse, raise your hand, come to the stage, even if you don't say anything, because if you do that, you'll help populate the stage for me this morning. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the P.I.L.L method and what it stands for. And it's the P.I.L.L method that brings you this show every week, how to pay off mortgages in 7 years. But people are saying, well, Don, how can we get a mortgage if the interest rates are 8%? Okay. Listen, if you can afford it, I will show you how you do not have to be afraid of these higher interest rates. Okay. What can you do? You can always do something. You can always do something, but you just need to know what to do, how to make situations work for you. This is why we exist. Finances have been around forever, but the rules of how the game is played, that has not been common knowledge. How people lend money, how people borrow money, how interest is being charged is not part of what we do, as not part of the information that is made public to us. So okay, Kazim, come on up. All right. And good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Good to be here. Thank you for bringing me up.
Listen, do you have a question or a comment before we jump into things this morning?
Um, yeah. Actually, I've been following you on Instagram. I think I come across you on the on this platform right here. So, and I've been looking for a way to take advantage of the program that you have. So, uh, it wasn't a coincidental for me to be here this morning. So, hopefully, I'll be able to learn something.
Excellent,
Thank you.
excellent. So listen, we're going to start with breaking down the P.I.L.L method and what it means. The P in P.I.L.L method stands for prepayment of principal. All right, prepayment of principal. I'm going to put some things on the screen right now, and then we can go visually see what I'm talking about. So if you are in here right now and you want to see what we're doing, I'm going to add our link for YouTube. I'm going to put that on the screen right now for you. Okay. All right. Let me get that off. All right. Let me see here. So let's copy this And we're going to put that link in the chat. So if you want to see what we're talking about, that link is coming to you right now. And then you can copy and paste that or click on that. And then if you want to bring it up in a, let me see here. I'm trying to get this. There we go. Entire screen. Let's share our screen today. There we go. And there it is. So now we're bringing up our screen so that you can see it. I'm going to do this one so we can bring up both cameras there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about understanding the basics of the P.I.L.L method, and then we'll talk about how we can handle these interest rates as they go up. You have to understand these basics. So I'm putting in $350,000, okay, at 8%. Here are some of the things that we just aren't being taught. P stands for prepayment of principal. Now, we all know that you can pay more than the minimum on the loans. When you pay more than the minimum, you're making the regular mortgage payment or the regular loan payment. And then once you do that, any additional funds is called a prepayment because you're putting on money on the loan before the next payment is due. You're making a regular payment, and then before the next payment is due, you're adding additional monies. Okay? Now, on top of your regular payment. So that's called a prepayment. Everybody knows we can do that, but very few people know what happens when you do. If you knew what happened, what actually was going on behind the scenes, everybody would take a better look at this thing. So I need you to go to YouTube, search for P.I.L.L method, and take a look at this thing if you're here on Clubhouse. If you're already online, that's great. All right. So let me say good morning to those who are online. Good morning, everybody who's watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Good morning to you. So I'm putting good morning in the comments. Tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're watching us from this morning. And if you're in Clubhouse, tell me where you're listening from, and I'll say good morning to you as well. Good morning, Clubhouse. Good morning to you guys. Okay. Good morning. There we are. All right. There we go. All right. So I got good morning to everybody here. And all right. So we got $350,000 at 8%. Our payment on this is $2,568.18. I need you to take a look at how much interest the bank wants on this. Good morning, Eric from Florida. Eric Toombs from Florida. He's watching us on YouTube this morning. Look at this. $574,000 in interest on a $350,000 loan. Listen, if you knew that you did not have to pay all of that interest, wouldn't that be interesting to you? Wouldn't that get your attention? The bank wants you to pay $574,000, over $500,000 interest on this loan. But I'm telling you today, you don't have to. You are in control of how much interest you want to pay on this loan, if you knew how. All right. So watch this. We're going to take a look at prepayment. Now, the regular payment on this is $2,568.18. Look how on the very first payment, look how it breaks down. $234.85 goes to principal. $2,333.33 goes to interest. That's a lot of money. That interest is a lot of money. And the principal amount, the amount that gets attributed to principal or credited to principal, is only $235. in the first payment, 236.41 in the second monthly payment. The way that the amortization formula treats this loan can be to your benefit if you know how, if you knew what was actually going on behind the scenes. So the most important thing that the amortization formula actually does is dictates how much money goes to principal. That's the most powerful part of this loan right here. Prepayment of principal, the P in the P.I.L.L method, helps us to understand that the principal payment is more powerful than anything else. This is the education that we provide. Control the principal payment and you control the loan. Control the principal payment and you control this loan. So if you're new coming into Clubhouse, you want to make sure you can see what's going on. I have the link to our YouTube channel in the chat, or you can search for P.I.L.L method on YouTube and then use a secondary device like a secondary phone, your laptop or tablet, so that you can see these numbers. Okay, so look at this. These small principal payments actually can work to your benefit. But if you don't know that, you're just going to make your monthly mortgage payment, and this is what's going to happen. Out of that $2,500 you're making every month, look at the principal payments. This is the amount of money that you're bringing your loan down by. $230 payments, $240 payments, going on a $350,000 loan. And because the principal payments are so small, that is what causes you to have a 30-year loan, the principal payments. So, what can we do with these small payments? What does it mean to prepay? When you prepay, that means you're giving the bank money sooner than they expected. How does that help you? If you give the bank money sooner than they expected, what happens for you? You're going to pay off the loan faster, all right? That means you're going to pay less interest. That means the loan is cheaper. But what we don't know, what we're not taught in school, is how much cheaper we make these loans through prepayment. Now, I'm going to pick out a number here, and I'm not teaching what we do for our clients. I'm just showing you how an amortization schedule works and how easily it's disrupted. How easily it's disrupted. So the reason why we don't understand this is not why it's not taught in school, is because I've got a $2,500 payment every single month. But if I do it according to this formula, let me put the formula up. Okay, the amortization formula. All right. All right, here's the amortization formula. I'm putting that on the screen right here. This formula right here. The most powerful part of this formula is not the amount of interest that you pay each month. The most powerful part, the most powerful part of this formula is that it dictates how much goes to principal every single month. If I have a small amount of money going to principal, that means I have to make more payments. Good morning, Ted. I've got to make more payments so that I can bring down the balance of this loan. All right. So when you make this first payment, $234.85 is the only thing that's bringing down the $350,000 that you owe. When that $234.85 gets credited to your account, now you owe $349,700 $765.15. Now, I know that the interest payment is a lot, but I'm more concerned now. With the principal payment, because that's why I got the loan in the first place, is so that I can purchase the home. I borrowed the money and now I need to pay the money back. But the way that this thing works is that if I don't understand this formula, then the formula makes the payment method inefficient, meaning too much of my money is going to the wrong place. It's being credited to interest and not to principal, bringing down how much I owe. So, what does a high interest rate actually do for me? It makes my principal payment a lot smaller. So, if I make my first payment, let's call that January. I just made January's payment. $234.85 goes to principal. And if $234.85 is credited to principal, guess what? I have 359 more payments to make. 359 more monthly payments to make. 360 payments altogether. That's 30 years because of this $234.85. But next month I can see the principal payment for $236.41. When I prepay, I'm just picking this number out because it's easy. $236.41. Did you realize I could add that if I had the money, I can add $236.41. I can give that to the bank anytime in the same month I make a regular payment. If I do that, all of this money goes to principal. In other words, if I wait till the first of the month to give them this money, where $236.41 goes to principal, I also have to give them $2,331.77. That money is credited to my interest cost, and this is the only money that goes to principal. Watch this. But if I pay it early, if I give the bank this money early in my own timing, this money goes to principal. I'm paid down to line 2 on my amortization schedule, and my very next payment the next month is on line 3. So I just removed one monthly payment from this schedule by giving the bank $236.41 early, by doing that early. And the $2,331.77 they were looking for, I don't have to pay now. I have one less mortgage payment and one less interest payment. I've just saved $2,331.77. In other words, I got this piece of equity, this $236.41 for free. If I don't pay early, look, I just need you to see every single month, this $237.99, I've got to pay the bank gets $2,330.19 in interest so that I can bring my loan down by $237 the next month. If I wait for the next month, I have $239.57 that gets credited to principal, but also out of my $2,500 payment, that gets credited towards interest. Folks, why would we do that? Why would we keep giving the bank all of that money? Good morning, Nabia. Listen, anybody who wants to come to the stage, please raise your hand. All right? I'll invite Nabia up. Nabia, if I make you moderator, can you kind of watch the stage for me? I don't know how much time you have to spend with us today, but I'd love it if you could come to the stage. How are you doing?
And shalom, good morning, family. I am in my car as usual, but yeah, I'll watch the stage. I'll babysit, make sure
Uh,
people got their lives together.
Listen, I don't want you to take your eyes off the road, but if you just
No, no,
happen
no.
to
I'm good. I'm
glance
good.
and you see that somebody has a question or raise their hand, just let me know and I'll take it from there. But I appreciate it just so much. Thank you.
Awesome sauce. You know that's one of the responsibilities of real estate investors and realtors. Absolutely.
All right, folks. So now here's so prepayment of principal means if I give the bank money early in my own timing, that means I don't have to give them all that interest and I'm cutting down on the time I have to pay this loan. I don't want to make 360 payments on this because if I make 360 payments on this, out of the $2,500 I give them every month, too much of it goes to interest, too little of it goes to principal. But because I have a small principal payment, I can do a lot of damage to this loan. When I prepay the 236, it saves me $2,331 in interest I don't have to pay. If I make a regular mortgage payment and I give them two principal payments on top of that, okay, 236.41 and 237.99, I get rid of over $4,600 in interest I never have to pay. If I give them three of these, 237, 236, 237, and 239, if I have it, I can give that to the bank early. I can give it to the bank in my own time, and I can eliminate over two, four, six, nearly $7,000 in interest I never have to pay. These three interest payments are eliminated from this loan just by prepaying a small amount of money. If more people knew what prepayment of principal meant, it would make a difference. Now, the I in P.I.L.L stands for isolating the principal amount. How much should each individual or business or church put towards their mortgage at any given time? It all depends on your income and your expenses, how much money you're making and how much money you're spending on a regular basis to determine our AI system, the opportunity cost calculator that the P.I.L.L method provides, does all of the math. So it says, now, how much should I pay, isolating out of all the money that I'm working with? The program will isolate a certain amount to the penny and say, this is what you should pay. This is the month you should pay it in. This is the day of the month you should pay it on. And this is the loan you should pay it to. Okay? Especially if you have more than one loan. The average family has over 13 different debts. The average family. So if the average family has 13 different debts, and it's beneficial to know how much to pay, what month to pay it in, what day of the month to pay it on, and which loan to attack. You see, did you realize if you are trying to pay off your debt and the money that you have to work with, if you're trying to spread it out over several different debts, like 2 or 3 credit cards and a car loan and a mortgage, you say, okay, I don't want to pay minimums on all of this, on all these things. So you're going to take your money and you'll pay more than the minimum on several things. Don't do it. You want to concentrate that money on the one thing that's going to save you the most money in interest long term. It is not the highest interest rate. It is not the lowest payment. It's not the lowest debt. What we're taking a look at is which one of these loans is charging me the most interest per month, and how can I attack these loans so that I can release more money so that I can attack an even bigger loan later. Listen, there's a lot of math going on here. So isolating the principal amount means which loan, how much, what month, and what day. Now, why do I say what month? Because if you want to be efficient with your money, you're not going to put a prepayment on a loan every single month. You just don't want to do that. Well, that's what we're taught. Yes. And because that's the way we're being taught, guess what? 9 out of 10 people, I see I got several people here in Clubhouse. I got several people watching us online right now. Listen, folks, if you continue to do what you've always been taught, then this will continue to be true. 9 out of 10 people 9 out of 10 people will never pay off all of their debt, will never pay off a mortgage. 9 out of 10 people because we're doing what we've been taught to do. And if we keep doing that for years, and then we realize suddenly when we're getting ready for retirement, I have too much debt to pay off before my retirement. I have too much debt to pay off before I leave this world, because we've been following the advice of experts. You see, if the information we were receiving was correct, then more of us would be getting out of debt. 90% of us would not be failing. You know? Here's what I know for sure. So Don, how do you know? How do you know? Well, I need you to count up on your fingers and toes or whatever you have to do. Just think about all the people you know that have ever had a mortgage, and how many of those people you know that have actually paid one off. Because when somebody pays off a mortgage, that's a big deal. And you know about it. Whether it's your business, whether it's a family member, whether it's the church, especially if it's the church, when you listen to do a mortgage burning at the church, that's a Holy Ghost event, okay? That is something to shout about. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're not hearing that on a regular basis, it's because it's not happening. So the education we receive in other places actually works. The education that you receive on how to drive a car, 90% of us are not going to fail the driving test or fail to operate a vehicle safely. Operating a vehicle does not have a 90% failure rate. It just doesn't. Okay? Even graduating from high school or college doesn't have a 90% failure rate. Getting a job doesn't have a 90% failure rate. Even people who start a business doesn't have a 90% failure rate. The only thing that I can think of right now that has a 90% failure rate is paying off a doggone mortgage. Getting out of debt. Why? Because the whole system is built on it. Because we're not getting good education on it. That's why we exist, to give you great education on how all of this works. So isolating the principal amount is important. We don't do it every month. We don't put money on the debt every month. We put a certain amount on the debt at strategic times during the year so that we can eliminate the debt in an efficient manner. Now, when we talk about prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, now we're going to talk about leverage. Leverage means, what is the least amount of effort I can put into something to get the greatest benefit? Oh my goodness. That is how recipes work. You want to have the right amount of all your ingredients to get maximum flavor. Come on, everybody. You want to put in, when you're trying to, when you're working on something, you want to put in the right amount of effort to turn out a masterpiece. If you're a painter, all right, you want to put what is the least amount of effort I can put into this painting to get the maximum effect that I'm looking for. Because if I put too much effort into it, if I put too much paint on it, if I add one more scene to this thing, it's done. I've ruined the effect. So you want to find out what is the least amount of money I can put on this loan so that I can pay the loan off as fast as I can, as cheaply as I can. What is the right amount of money that's going to cancel the maximum amount of interest? It's not the most you can put on. It's the exact opposite. What is the least I can put on this loan to kill the maximum amount of interest? Listen, when I get into this thing about how we can handle these high interest rates, that least thing is really going to come back to help us out. Okay? So we went over prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. Liquidity has to do with all the monies that you have to work with. How do we, all the cash, all the funds that you have to work with, whether it's credit cards, whether it's line of credit, whether it's cash in your pocket, money in the bank, whatever, the money that you have to work with, how can we best work with that so that we can get maximum effect, so that we can buy more for less, so we can make more on our investments, so that we can make sure that we're setting aside money for our children's children? How do we take what we have and make more out of it? That's what being a good steward is all about. Not getting more and then having less at the end. It's about how to get more and then have more. How do I know that? Because there's a verse in the Bible that says, he that has more, he that has gets more, and he that has not loses that which he has. Yeah. He that has gets more. And if you don't have it, you're going to lose even more. So how do we steward the finances we're actually privileged to earn, or the monies that we've been given? How do we make the most out of that? So folks, I want to talk to you today about, now that we kind of understand the basics of the P.I.L.L method, let me talk to you today about this loan that I have on the screen right now, and why these high interest rates can actually help you. All right. So if you have a question or comment about what we're talking about, please raise your hand, come to the stage if you're here in Clubhouse, or if you're watching us online on YouTube or Facebook, you can actually send me a message in the comments and I'll see it and we can talk about it. Okay. But I need you to see something here. I'm going to open up a few more tabs. Okay. And I need you to see something. Every time I lower the interest rate on these loans, I need you to see something. Now, I need you to hear me carefully. Don't take something you hear today and then run away with it and think this is the way to get things done. What I am not saying go out and get the highest interest rate available. I am not saying get the lowest interest rate available. What I am saying is work with us here at the P.I.L.L method so that you can get, if you haven't gotten an interest rate already, if you haven't closed on your loan already, there is a right interest rate for you. And I guarantee you, it's not the lowest interest rate you can possibly get. I guarantee you it's not that. And I guarantee you it's not the highest interest rate that's available to get. But there is an interest rate that works best for you and your income to kill these loans faster and cheaper. Here's what you want to do. You know what the best loan? You know what the very best loan is, everybody? The very best loan is the loan you don't have to pay any interest on. If you had a 0% loan, we would not even have of this show or how to pay off mortgages in 7 years. Okay. Listen, the next best loan, if you can't get a 0% interest loan, if you can't get a 0% interest mortgage, and they don't exist, don't even look for it, then the next best thing is to pay the least amount of interest that you possibly can and still have a great lifestyle, still live well while you're doing it. Yes, you can live well, save more money, invest more money, and pay off a mortgage in an average of 7 to 9 years when you know what to do. I need you to watch and see what happens with these higher interest rate loans. Focus on the principal payment and what you can do. I just showed you where $236 prepaid can kill over $2,300 worth of interest. I need you to now take a look at the cumulative principal and cumulative interest. If you have an amortization schedule from your bank or you produce one online, okay, chances are you will not have these two columns, cumulative principal and cumulative interest. When you have these two columns, things become clearer to you with how much is actually costing you on these loans. So in 1 year, here's what happens. Out of $2,500 every single month, okay? Let me put my calculator on the screen for you guys. I want to show you something. The payment is $25.68.18 every single month times 12 equals $30,818.16. That's how much money is going to get paid out yearly on this loan every single year. Now, how many years do you want? How many years do you want to do this thing? Okay, $30,000 a year on this loan. And I want to show you what happens in the first year out of 30 grand. Here's what happens. $2,923.82 is subtracted from what you owe. That's it. Out of $30,818.16, only $2,923.82 is subtracted from what you owe. $27,894.34 got credited to the interest side of the ledger. You got principal and you got interest. So too much money goes over here of your $2,500 every month, and too little money goes to pay down the loan. Well, what can we do about that? In other words, to get my loan credited $2,900, if I do it the bank's way, in the bank's timing, it's going to cost me $27,894.34. So I need you to take a look at this thing because we're moving. I need you to think of it in terms of I'm moving the loan from point A to point B. Point A is $350,000. That's where it started. Point B in this example is $347,076.18. How much does it cost to move this loan from point A to point B? That's what we're going to talk about today. And in this case, the bank wants to take out of my 30 grand that I'm going to give them, they want $894.34 to go into the interest column. I don't want that money to go to the interest column to move the loan from point A to point B. So what can we do? Now, if you want to do this on your own, all right, go to brettwhistle.net. This is a teaching tool that I use. brettwhistle.net will give you cumulative principal and cumulative interest. You can play around with this thing all on your own, and you can use this video as your notes to give you some insight on this thing. Okay, you can do this yourself. All right. So how much goes to the principal column? $2,923.82. But here's my question to everybody in here. All of you on Clubhouse, all of you that are watching me online. If I'm going to bring my loan down by $2,923.82, let me bring up my calculator again. I'm going to put in $350,000. So here's my question. If I'm going to bring my loan down by $2,923.82, do I have to do it in 12 monthly installments? Like $234, $236, all these $200 payments that you see here in the principal column for 1 year, 12 months worth, if I add it up, come to $2,923.82. But if I do it the bank's way, look what they want. They want $27,894 over in the interest column. So it takes me longer to pay off the loan. Do you know how long it would take me by paying like $2,900 for the first year to bring down this loan? Oh my gosh, look at the second year. $6,000 goes on the principal side, and $55,000 goes into the interest column. 3 years in, look at this. 3 years in, I haven't even brought the loan down by $10,000. What in the world is that? $9,519.61 in 3 years, but look how much goes to the interest column. $82,000. Somebody's getting rich off my $2,500 mortgage payments, and it ain't me. I want to get rich off of this. How can I get rich off of my mortgage payment? What can you do here? Watch this. $2,900. Okay, I got in my calculator, $350,000. But there's no rule that says I have to listen to the bank and follow their timing on how to give them money. I don't have to follow their timing at all. Okay? What if I want to follow my own timing? What if I'm just throwing out a number here, folks. What if I had $2,923.82? What if I had that? Do you think I could give it to the bank in 1 month instead of over 12 months if I had it? You tell me. Put it in the chat. Could I give the bank this kind of money, $2,923.82, if I had it? Could I give it to them all at once? Or do I have to give it to them over 12 monthly installments and give them $2,300 in interest each time? Okay, Nabia says for show. I can give them that money all at once. Let me subtract $2,923.82. Okay, Christina Daniel says once. That's my niece. She's watching us this morning. So listen, I'm going to subtract $2,923.82 equals $374,076.18. That's exactly what's here. So I just pointed out two ways to get from point A to point B, 350,000 to 347,000. Sharon M. Jones says good morning she's watching us on YouTube from Pulaski, Tennessee. Good morning to you, Sharon. All right. Listen, folks, if I give this money to them over 12 months, the $2,900 goes into the principal column, but $27,894.34 goes into the interest column. Do I want to pay $27,000 just to pay my loan down by $2,900? Ian Pedley says hi. He's watching us on YouTube. He is from Australia. Okay. Listen, I had some folks contact me from New Zealand. Some of your neighbors from New Zealand, Ian, reached out, and hopefully we're going to be working with New Zealand as well as Australia. Okay. All right. All right. Excellent. Excellent, Ian. All right. Excellent. You got that straightened out. So here's, folks. If I give this money to them all at once, and they'll subtract it from what I owe, I'm paid down to here in 1 month. In 1 month. I need you to see something here. And keep this in mind. You have a payment every single month. You have a payment every single month. Let's just say you give the bank $2,900 up front. The first month you're in this loan, you make your mortgage payment, and then you give them the $2,900 additional dollars. You're paid down to here in 1 month. Did it cost you $27,000 to get here if you give it to them all at one time? I'm going to wait to listen. I'm going to wait to watch your answers here. If I give them the $2,900 all at one time, does that mean I also have to give them $27,894.34 to get to the same place on my amortization schedule? You tell me, yes or no. Do I have to give them the 27 grand if I give them the $2,900 all at one time? Yes or no, everybody? Talk to me. All right. I'm checking the chat. Nabia says, no, sir. Anybody else? Anybody else want to chime in? Christina Daniel says, absolutely not. Okay. So I could give them that money, but guess what? I still have to make 12 payments somewhere along the line. Let's just say I don't make any more prepayments. All right. I don't make any more prepayments for the next little while. Guess what happens at the end of 12 months? I'm on this loan because I made the very first payment, let's say in January. And then I also gave them the $2,900 in January. So my next mortgage payment for February is actually on line 13 of the schedule. You have a payment every single month. But if I get into this loan, let's say I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to make one prepayment in this year only. Guess what happens? A year from now, I'm actually here on line 24 of my schedule. Right there. In 1 year, I'm here. Okay? And of the $55,000 that the bank would normally want, I can subtract $27,000 from it. So they're not going to get all this money. If I don't do anything else, I will not pay $55,000 in interest to bring my loan down to here, where I would have given them $6,000. I can subtract $27,000 from the $55,000 here. Folks, does this make sense to you? If you're watching this, Letitia Knox, good morning to you, and thank you for watching us on YouTube this morning. This is good morning. Happy hump day. Great info. Keep it coming. All right. There she is. We'll put that on there. All right. Christina Daniel, got to put her up there. Got to put my niece up there. Ian Pedley, got to put him on the screen as well. Sharon and Jones, we'll put you on the screen. Say good morning to you. We'll say good morning to Ted. Put him on the screen. Eric Toombs, put you on the screen as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions? Raise your hands if you have any questions at this point before I continue. All right, raise your hand, come to the stage. And I hope you can see these numbers on the screen. All right. Kazim, Adisa, you said no as well. All right. I see your comment. All right. So any questions? Because what I just showed you is that a year from now, if you don't do anything except give them the $2,900, one time, saves you over $27,000, about $27,000 in interest. All right. But a year from now, you'll be here on about line 24 on your schedule, where you will owe $343,909.70. So if we just did a little simple math, the bank would normally want $55,000 to get here. So why don't we just do that math? 55,000. I'm showing you what you could do if you have the higher interest rates, folks. Okay? 55,000, 546.02, and we're going to subtract. Actually, we're saving. I'm just going to use this number because it's between the 25,000 and 27,000. Let's just subtract the 27,000. 894.34 equals $27,000. $27,000. I could be paid down to here on my loan in 1 year for $27,000 less if I give them this $2,900 in at one time. Listen, folks, let me ask you something. Where else can you invest $2,900 and get a $27,000 return on that money in 1 year? Where else can you do that? I told you I want to get rich using my mortgage. I want to get rich using my mortgage. How do I do that? I get my equity for $27,000 less. Come on. Do I need to do the math on that? Do I need to do the math on what it means to get my $2,900 in equity for $27,000 less? Do I need to do the math? Yes or no? I just want to hear from the audience. I want somebody to talk to me. DeGracia Stewart watching us on YouTube this morning. She says, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. All right. So let me see here. Okay. Tiana McNeil says, if you have the money, this is amazing. I just wish we wouldn't have to continue with the normal mortgage payment every month. Well, Tiana, here's what you want to do. Okay. Think of it this way. Here's what the bank wants. Okay. This may help you. Here's what the bank wants is $574,000 in interest for a $350,000 loan. In other words, the total cost of this home is going to be at least $924,544.80. Here's my question. Do you want to pay $924,000 for your $350,000 home? That's the question today. And the answer absolutely is no, I don't want to do that. So what if you can get the same equity, pay off the same home, and you can have it for what? 2/3 less. Pay 1/3 of the interest instead of everything that the bank is looking for. Okay. Let me give you an idea of what that would be. Okay. So the bank wants $500,000. Okay. 574,544. Oops. 544. Let's divide that by 3. Okay. What if you can get that for 191,000 instead of 574,000? Wouldn't that be better? Okay. That saves you quite a bit of money, doesn't it? To acquire the same property. And then you could be out of debt faster and cheaper. But what if you kept track of the $191,000 you didn't have to spend in interest to get the property? What if you said to yourself, you know what? why don't I just continue to invest? I take that money that I could have paid in interest and pay it towards an investment. Ooh, that's $191,000 extra dollars that you could put towards an investment instead of giving it to the bank to invest for themselves, not for you. I need you all to think about that. Think about that for a minute. Now, let's take a look and see what would happen. What would happen if I paid extra money on this loan to lower my interest rate to 6%? 6%. Because that's what everybody's talking about. How do I lower that interest rate? How do I pay enough money by the points to lower my interest rate to 6%? I get a payment of $2,098.43. The total interest cost for the 30-year term is $405,000. Listen, I want you all to see something, because right now, your bank, if you're trying to get a loan right now, then and they say, well, you don't want this 8% or this 7.5% interest rate. You can pay extra. You can buy it down by a point or two. Okay. Let's just say, I'm just saying, they offered you a deal and you can pay $12,000, somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 extra dollars to get a 6% interest rate instead of the 8% interest rate. And you get to see, oh, I get this payment. My total interest cost is lower. All right. And you get enamored about that because everybody's talking about interest rates, but nobody's talking about interest cost and how you can mitigate interest cost. I want you to see something, and I want you to answer for me why a bank would even offer this for $15,000 or even $20,000. Why would they offer bringing the interest rate down by 2 points? Why would they do that? I don't know. Because here's what I'm looking at. If 9 out of 10 people you know will never pay off a mortgage, and they're in this thing at 8%, look at that. $574,000. $574,000. They're going to get at least that much money into this thing. If I lower the interest rate, now look at it as $405,000. Oh, wait a minute. That means I have to bring up my calculator one more time. So if I'm the bank, if I keep the interest rate at 8%, chances are I'm going to get a good chunk of this $574,000. $574,544. But I'm going to offer you for let's say 12 grand or even $15,000. You give me an extra $15,000, I'll give you a 6% interest rate. And some of you are jumping on that all day. Okay. Buying the rate down. Okay. So now the bank says I could make $574,000, but for $15,000, I'm going to give you the better interest rate. Oh, well, if we get the better interest rate, look at this. Now they only stand to make $405,000. So let's subtract that. 405,000, 434 equals $169,000. Folks, I want to ask you something. If I'm the bank, why would I ever offer you for $15,000 a lower interest rate into a system where 90% of us are going to fail to pay off the loan ever? Why would I offer you a program where I'm going to make $169,000 less and I'm only charging you 15 grand? Why would I do that if I'm the bank? Does that make sense to you guys? that a bank would offer you the lower interest rate for such a small amount of money so that they could lose so much? Is it because is it because the bank is our friend? Is it because they want to do us a favor? Okay? Christina Daniel says that never made sense to offer the points. So glad I never bought down. They tried hard to get me to. Come on, Christina. That's my niece talking, everybody. She typed that. She typed that into Clubhouse. So if you're online, you won't be able to see it. But it didn't make sense to her. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you what happens. Okay, let me say Nabia, who's in the industry. She says she preaches that all day. Nabia, can you talk to us this morning? Are you still driving?
No, I'm back in the house. I was getting ready to jump on my computer.
Okay, go ahead and jump on your computer. But tell me, why do you preach? Why do you preach not to buy down the rate?
Well, so it's like you said, if they're trying to offer you something, first of all, you going in the door knowing these are not your friends. Although they, it's like I should have had that track ready. They smile in your face. Yeah, they smile in your face, and they do. They do. And this guy, Bob, he's really friendly. And so while they're trying to talk you into doing this, they're really setting you up for failure. Their eye is on the prize, as we know, and so it's just not smart.
Let
And
me
so
tell you.
while you're
Let me jump in
go
here
ahead.
right. Let me jump right in here because let me tell you something.
Sure.
There are there are really good mortgage professionals that care about their clients that are offering this. It is because
Yep.
they're even being taught it's a good thing. Not only that, but they're actually practicing this themselves. When they get a mortgage from their own company, they're buying the points because they believe that is the right thing to do. I'm just telling you,
Right.
the
Right.
education we're receiving is faulty all the way
Yeah.
around. So go ahead, Nabia.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to
Yeah.
blame the MLOs, the mortgage loan officers. What I'm indicting is the educational system that gets us to a place where we are spending more money than we need to spend. Go ahead, Nabia.
Right. So and I was going to say that we don't understand that they don't know. They don't themselves know. It's the organization itself. They know. And so then they feed the MLOs all of these information. This is what you say, this is how you train, this is what you do. And they think themselves that they're doing a good thing. And it's like they are blind guides. That's all they are. They're blind guides. And so it is up to the individual to get educated in rooms like this for KPIs, key person of influence, like yourself, that knows what he's talking about. These guys, like I said, they smile in your face. That Bob is a nice guy. He's great to work with. I'm bringing my friends to him, but Bob doesn't know. He has no idea. And so he's just feeding you what was fed into him. And so, yeah, get educated, guys. You got to know what's really going on. And so these is it's I want to say this: the numbers do not lie. And if we pay attention to the numbers, if we take some time to spend with the numbers, you'll see it for yourself. He's got the YouTube up. He's showing it to you. The numbers don't lie. I mean, yeah, put it in the chat. Are these numbers telling you the truth of what's really going on? Are you seeing what's really going on with these numbers? And if you're making your prepayment that one time, it's going to make a world of difference because we have to remember at the end of the day, when you borrow money, you are paying money. You are paying to borrow money. And we're never going to get away from that. But you don't have to walk in the system that they have set up. You just got to
Exactly.
outsmart her. So I rest my mic.
Exactly. Ian Pedley put something on the screen here. He says he's watching us from Australia, all the way from Australia, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put this on the screen. He says, I spoke to a broker from one of the Australia's biggest loan brokerage companies. When I asked, is there a way to pay out a $465,000 loan earlier, like under 10 years? Guess what? They had no idea. This thing is not just in the US where we don't understand it. It is all over the planet. This is why I'm on YouTube, so that the message can get out all over the planet. And I need your help to do this. Ian just came on YouTube. I guess he wants to talk about his experience. So Ian, can you tell us a little bit about that? Can you open your mic? Click that microphone in the lower right-hand corner of your screen on your phone or whatever you're using. There you go.
Is it working now?
It's working now.
Yeah, pretty much for the last couple of months, I've been sussing out different brokerage firms over here in Australia, and no one has actually been able to give me the answer to that question. They just pay extra, just do this, and it's nowhere near what you've got. It's frightening.
Wow, wow, wow. Folks, it's not just here. It's everywhere. People contact me from all over the world with the same information. We're not getting this here. We're not getting this here. Ian, do you have anything else to say about that?
No, that's about it. Thanks, John.
All right, thank you. Can you go ahead and mute your mic back? All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and click that mic. There you go. All right, so here's what we're doing, folks. I'm going to get into this thing a little bit deeper. We're already an hour and 11 minutes into our show. So I'm going to put something on the screen, all right, in Clubhouse. I'm going to pin my digital business card to the screen. ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com, ICE10K.com. And if you're about to get a mortgage, or if you already have a mortgage, or if your church has a mortgage, or if your apartment building has a mortgage, if there are mortgages out there and you want to learn how you can use the monies that are already coming in, to use them more efficiently so that you can pay off these loans cheaper and faster, then all you have to do is get a free savings report. Go to ice10k.com. All right. I'm going to put that also on our screen. All right. Go to ice10k.com and get a savings and earnings report. Okay. Click on that link. It takes just a few minutes to fill it out. It's very easy, and it works all over the world now. Before it didn't work all over, but now it does. You can go to ice10k.com, click the link, and you can get a free savings and earnings report. You can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and the amount of interest you can save. And I'll also show you how your interest savings, the money you're no longer paying the bank, the money the bank thought they were going to get, I'll show you how to use some of that money to pay for your lifetime program. Oh my goodness. Yes. Saving money, but we're going to use the bank's money to pay for it. Don't you think it's about time? All right. So do that. Now, I also need your help. If you go to ice10k.com, all right, ice10k.com, I'm going to put that on our screen this morning. All right. So let's put that on our screen. All right. ice10k.com. There we go. And I need your help. If you was go here and then scroll down to where it says down here at the bottom, let me move this out of the way so you guys can see it better. All right, there we go. Become an affiliate. Okay. Click that link, become an affiliate, and help me get the message out. It only takes you a few seconds to become an affiliate. Fill out your name, your phone number, your email, and how you want to get paid. Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal. Okay. If you want to share the YouTube channel with others and just follow up with them in 2 days and see if they want more information, because you're an affiliate with us, you can make anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month sharing that information with us. When you find someone who's watched our videos and wants more information, you can go back to the 10K card, ladies and gentlemen, and then scroll down to where it says refer a friend right here. You can click on refer a friend and put their name, their phone number, their email address, their zip code, and your name and phone number goes here because you referred them. And give us a little information about this person or couple or church or business or whatever it is that we're going to be calling. And when they become a client, we'll pay you. We will pay you. All right. Let's talk about it. All right, folks. So I need your help getting that out there. Okay. So let's get back to this loan here. I want to show you what happens. Okay. We already talked about what happens. Why a bank would lower their interest rate and only charge you a little bit of money to do that, just so that they can lose almost $200,000. Okay, why would they do that? But here's one of the reasons why. I need you to see something here, and we're going to compare these two loans. Do you see this principal payment, $348, $350, as opposed to the principal payments on the other loan? Look here, 234, 236. This is at 8%. Here are the principal payments at 6%. Look, they're higher. Okay. Remember, at the higher interest rate, all the principal payments added up to $2,900. If I prepaid the $2,900, I knock off a year off this loan. At the lower interest rate, look what $2,900 does. Barely gets me to 8 months. Okay. It doesn't get me to it doesn't get me to 9 months, because now I'm at $3,100, almost $3,200, just to knock off 9 months. If I want to knock a year off this loan at 6%, I got to come up with a total of $4,298.07. Now I can knock off 1 year. When you lower the interest rate, the people who own the bank know. They just made it harder for you to prepay and to save money. They know that. The people who use this amortization schedule to charge all of this interest, they know what's going on. We who work for the institutions are not being taught that. We who do business with the institutions are not taught that. And listen, this goes across the board. This the level of, okay, the level of miseducation about how these loans actually work knows no gender. It goes all across social economic strata. It knows no color. It knows no ethnicity. The amount of misinformation about this touches everyone. I need your help in getting the information out. This is why I'm here every single week. Okay? Getting the information out, whether we're here live or I put up a replay. Okay? In fact, a church reached out to me recently. Says, Doc, can you do a seminar for our church? And I said, well, yeah, I can do that. All right. And so let me put this up for you. Okay. Starting this Thursday, I'm going to be doing a an 8-week seminar starting this Thursday for 8 weeks, starting October 12th, for Living Manna Online Church. That's Living Manna, MANNA, Living Manna Online Ministries. Okay. Presents Money Answers All Things. Bridging Faith and Finance Through Stewardship. I'm going to be doing that seminar for 8 weeks for this church. You want to get in on that. I'm putting this up here so that you can see their YouTube designation and their Facebook designation. So YouTube and Facebook, you'll be able to search for Living Manna Church. You also want to click on that notification bell, join their Facebook group. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel. All right. And make sure you're there. Okay. So here are the times are on there as well, starting this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 Mountain time. All right. 8:30 Eastern time, and 7:30 Central. I have Central time. That's why we put it first. So 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. And if you're Mountain Time, 6:30, and Pacific Time, 5:30 p.m. But the replays will be up if you can't make it. So I've been praying for an opportunity to share with more people and more churches. And listen, it's beginning to happen. It's beginning to happen. So if you have an organization, a church organization, or a civic organization that wants more information about the P.I.L.L method and what we're able to do in the area, what you could do for your community, for your church, for your organization, reach out to us at ice10k.com. Reach out to us, and we will set up something where we can come to an area near you because you invited us, looking for speaking engagements. Okay. So let me see here. I've got some more comments here, and let's get back to our screen. All right. We're going to take this off and put our screen back on here. Banners. Okay. I'm pushing all the buttons myself today. There we go. And this is what I want. There we go. We're back. Okay. So I want to show you what happens. So we went from 8% to 6%. Let's take it down 2 more. Okay. Let's take it down to 4. What happens at 4% here? 4%. Okay. There we are. I need you to see something here. It's absolutely amazing. Listen, do not lament the high interest rates if you can afford to buy the house that you want and the payments. If the payment is unwieldy, call up the P.I.L.L method. We'll help you to get or walk you through how to configure your finances so that you can get the house that you're looking for. Don't let these interest rates dissuade you or discombobulate you or depress you in any way. In fact, we're going to show you how these higher interest rates are going to work for you. At 8%, here are my principal payments. Control the principal payment and you control the loan. Okay. I like a tiny principal payment because I could do more damage to the loan. At 6%, it goes to $348. Here's what it goes to at 4%, ladies and gentlemen, $500 now. Okay. Now, if you're going to make every single payment for 360 months, that's 30 years. If you're going to make every single payment, I definitely want the lowest interest rate. I definitely want it. But if I want to get the most out of prepaying, if I want to make this thing work for me so I can be more efficient in saving money and killing interest and getting my home paid off faster and cheaper, I want the right interest rate for me so that I can make better use of the early principal payments to get deeper into my loan faster, where I get more equity 5 to 7 times faster at a lot lower interest cost, not interest rate, but interest cost. Which interest rate is going to help me mitigate interest cost is the question all of you should be asking when it comes to your finances, especially understanding what it means to deal with a mortgage or a student loan or credit cards or car loans or whatever loans you have. Because with the P.I.L.L method, you can pay off all of your debt, not just the mortgage. That's the mortgage, student loans, credit cards, car loans, personal loans, HELOCs, okay? Home equity lines of credit, in other words, or home equity loans. That's first mortgages, second mortgages. And what if you're a real estate investor that has more than one mortgage? Oh my goodness. We just did a show on that not too long ago. You can pay off all of that debt. If you have, we have people who have one mortgage, one rental, 3 rentals, 5 rentals, 10 rentals. It doesn't matter. I got one young lady who has 6 rentals, plus her own house. All of it getting paid off in about 6 years using this program, saving over what were we saving her? Over $600,000. I started to say 8. Over $600,000 in interest she won't have to pay the bank, and pay all of that debt off in 6 years. Why? Because the tenants are paying her, and she's taking a certain percentage of that money and prepaying these loans so that she gets her equity faster and cheaper and doesn't have to give all that money to the bank. And do you know, even considering, because she's getting her money, her equity faster and cheaper, do you realize she's even considering getting a refinance on those loans, on these houses, even at the higher interest rates? Why? Because you can take cash out and buy more real estate, even at the higher interest rates. Now, a lot of people are losing out on opportunities. What if you are a real estate investor, okay? And you are letting these higher interest rates keep you from increasing your bottom line, increasing your net worth. You've done well building up your equity, and now because the higher interest rates saying, well, listen, I got a 3%. Why would I trade in an 8% for that? Because you can make more money. That's why. That's exactly why. Well, Don, we see the house. We want to build the house of our dreams. Okay. We were looking forward to our dream home. And now we have the money to do it. But right now we have, before COVID, we got that 2.9 interest rate on the house we have now. But it's not the house. That's not the house we want to build. But we're afraid to build the house that we want, even though we can afford it, because everybody's going to look at us and say, why would you give up your 2.9 interest rate for 7.5 or 8? Because you can get the house that you want and control how much interest you actually pay. And it's going to be easier at the higher interest rate because you watch this show. That's why. Ladies and gentlemen, we just want you to be educated about this whole thing. If you want to know more, did you realize that with the P.I.L.L method, you don't just get the technology that guides you like financial GPS, you get one-on-one coaching as well. You get customer service 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You call up. Can you imagine that you can actually call customer service and somebody answers the phone and you get somebody who can answer your question the first time, you don't have to go through some stupid phone tree, push this button or push that button and then get disconnected. No, when you call the pill method, somebody answers the phone. Okay. All right. Somebody answers the phone. That's what happens. I love that about our company. We want to make sure that you have good customer service at all times. Good customer service at all times. Okay. Our office isn't open right now, or I would call and let you hear who answered the phone, but our office isn't open right now. But anyway, so any questions about what we've gone over so far? Okay. So we've gone over, I want to show you something very exciting though. We've gone 8%, 6% loan, all the way down to 4%. You know what? Can I show you something else that's interesting? Can I show you something else that's interesting? What if interest rates, what if they keep going? Did you know that interest rates used to be over 10%, 12%? They've gotten as high as 18% for mortgages. Did you know that? Did you know some of you have parents and grandparents that actually paid off a mortgage when the interest rates were crazy high? You think this is high? Think about what it would be for 18%. Okay? Can I show you something here? Let me show you a $100,000 mortgage, because years ago they weren't that much. Okay, $100,000. Okay, here's $100,000 at a whopping 18%. And I need you all to react. Okay, come to the stage and talk to me, or put it in the chat when I show you what happens to this loan at 18%. I need you to react and see it a different way, and see how in the world did my parents and my grandparents pay off a mortgage at 18%. And when you see it, based on the education you just received, you will know why. Here's the payment, $1,507.09. Okay? Boom. Look at the principal, the amount that gets credited to principal and the amount that gets credited to interest. Look at it. Look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. At 18%, I need you all to tell me, could you do some damage to this loan? Come on, talk to me. Somebody. Based on what you've learned already. All right. While I'm waiting for comments, I've got something from Mom Led in Me. She says, higher interest rate is better for us. We can pay off the mortgage sooner. This removes the fear of getting a mortgage now at 8%. This is what she says. Okay. Higher interest rate is better for us. Okay. We can pay off the mortgage sooner. This removes the fear of getting a mortgage now at 8%. See, we want to remove that fear. I need you all to see what happens if we had this interest rate at 18%. Can you see now why people who have these higher interest rates could actually do more damage to these loans and actually pay them off? Are you looking at this? And I have some comments here. Ooh, Nabia talk about that BRRRR method. Oh, my. We have to do a whole thing. We should do a whole thing on the BRRRR method. You know what? Maybe.
Absolutely. Yes.
You think I should do that on Friday?
I think you should, sir.
Okay, let me make my notes. Because see,
the BRRRR method is going to take people to another level. They have no idea how much money they're leaving on the table when they don't do the BRRRR method. I mean, oh my God.
All right, so talk to us. What does that mean? BRRRR method. What does that mean?
Okay, so and this is for all the real estate investors out there, the BRRRR method, it is an acronym. It means to buy, rent, rehab, and refinance. So when you purchase the property, let's say it's a distressed property, or maybe it's not that bad. You can rent it out, make a couple of bucks. But if you rehab it first, and then go get it refinanced, they're going to offer you more money. And then you take that money and then you go get your next property. I mean, it's such a it's such a I kind of love the
Listen, ladies
Burr
and gentlemen.
method, but yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. Go ahead, sir.
So if you're familiar with the Burr method, one thing that we've been losing out on is the rehab, not the rehab, but when we refinance the loan and then repeat. So the B stands for buy, then we rent it. Then I'm sorry, we buy it, we rehab it, we rent it. All right. Then we
Right.
refinance it, and then we repeat the process. That's what Burr stands for. Okay. So now the refinance part we've been losing out on. So if I can get my tenant, all right, I got my tenants, and a certain percentage of the money my tenants give me go to a a fund so that I can do repairs and maintenance on my buildings, on the buildings. See, what if we could take a certain amount of that money and gain equity faster and cheaper? Do you realize that you could get to the point where it makes sense to refinance this property 10 to 15 years sooner than normal? 10 to 15 years sooner, take cash out of the property and buy. Because see, when you take cash out, you don't put it all into one property. Do you, Nabia? You find several properties you can make down payments on. Several properties you can put down payments on and rent those properties out too. But now you're able to get that cash cheaper and faster, 10 to 15 years sooner, because you understand the benefit of prepaying and saving interest cost. I need everybody, whether you are a real estate investor or you're a homeowner or whatever, I need you to start paying attention to interest cost and lowering your interest cost. Okay? That's what you need to do. So Del Gracia Stewart says Living Manna. She'll be there. All right. Let's see. Sharon Jones says, oh, look, I was waiting for a comment. And I have one. She says she could do serious damage with this loan. Look at this. Look back at this loan, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the room, you need to go on YouTube and look at this. I've got $100,000 mortgage at 18% in here. Look at the crazy amount of money that goes to principal. It literally, if you make this mortgage payment and came up with an extra $7.20, you eliminate $1,500 worth of interest you don't have to pay, and you knock off one line off your amortization schedule. You just turn this thing into 359 monthly payments with $7.20 prepaid. Can you imagine? Look at this. When you add up all the principal payments for 1 year, look at that. It comes to $92.46. $92.46 prepaid on this loan knocks out 1 year and 17 grand in interest you never have to pay. Do you see? Now, I'm not saying go out and get an 18% loan. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is don't be afraid if interest rates go higher. You can always find a way to make money even at these higher interest rates. In fact, you can make even more. All right, I want to show you one more bit of math. I'm looking for other comments here or questions. Anybody want to come to the stage and ask a question about what we've gone over today? All right, I want to show you one more bit of math. If you're looking to get a return on your money, I want to show you something. A fabulous return on your money. Okay. Ian Pedley says they call it, we call it flipping here in Australia. That's right. That's how you build wealth quicker. All right. Take the cash out of your current properties, buy more properties. But now we're going to be able to get the cash, the equity faster and cheaper. Faster and cheaper. Okay. Real estate investors really ought to start looking at how can I borrow money at 1/3 the cost, not the interest rate, but 1/3 the interest cost. I could do the same work at a much lower interest cost. Some of you are doing very well with what you're already doing. But how would you like to do even better if you didn't have to pay the bank all that doggone interest and do exactly what you're doing now, except pay the bank 1/3, 2/3 less interest? It's amazing what you could do. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. I want to show you something. If I prepay, let me bring my calculator back over. Okay, boom, boom, boom. There we go. Bring my calculator back over, open it up. There it is. Okay. So if I prepay, I make the first payment and I prepay this, okay? 236.41. Okay? I'm going to save 231 I'm sorry, 2,331.77. I'm going to show you this math and then we're going to shut it down for today. Okay? Because I just wanted to show you how you can, if the interest rates keep climbing, here's stuff you can do and why it works. Why it works. So this 2,331.77. I've just reduced my overall interest cost by over $2,300 just for prepaying $236.41. Let me show you what happens, what that really means. 231.77. That's what I get. That's my benefit. Okay. A penny saved is a penny earned. Do you know what? I heard somebody say that a penny saved is actually 2 pennies earned, because that money that you didn't have to spend, you could invest it somewhere else to make more money. So a penny saved is actually 2 or 3 pennies earned. Keep that in mind. So I invest $236.41 of my money I have sitting in the bank, making 0.1%. I'm going to invest it into a prepayment program on my mortgage. And if this is my mortgage, that saves me $2,331.77. What is my return on investment? I take what I invest, I take the number that I make with that investment or save with that investment, and then I do some division, and then I multiply the answer by 100. If you look it up, how do I figure ROI? That's how they do it. What did you invest? What did you make? Okay. Then divide what you made by what you invested, and then multiply that number by 100. That gives you your return. What percentage return on investment? So 2,331.77 divided by 236.41 equals 9.86, and we multiply that by 100 equals 986%. Where else on the planet are you going to invest $236 and get,
Where else on this planet?
and get a 986% return on your money? Lord have mercy. And I mean, and listen, listen, I'm sorry, Nabia. Go ahead.
He's having mercy. That's why we all in this room.
You're right.
He's having mercy. Quick question though. So Friday, we're really going to talk about this BRRRR method, yes?
Yeah, Friday we can do the. We'll talk about the BRRRR method. I'll put together some examples for that.
Okay, all right, and just give us a time because I didn't hear it. But yeah, moving on. You were saying.
Okay, 7:30. We'll be here at. I'm sorry, 7 a.m. Eastern. 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. Okay, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. We'll be right back here again doing another live show on the Burr method. I'll come up with some examples, but you have to know kind of the basics. You want to make sure you can buy it correctly. You want to rehab it. Keep your all-in cost for buying the property and rehabbing the property under a certain percentage. All right. And then so that when you get your loan on the property, you can get everything done and you have instant equity available to you. Instant equity available to you. But we're going to get more equity based on putting renter in there. And we're going to show you how you can get your equity faster and cheaper so that we're going to supersize your Burr method. You know, they call me ICE for interest cancellation expert. Okay. Instant interest cancellation expert. That's what ICE stands for. Okay. So we're going to call this one, when I talk about the Burr method, I call it ICE Burr, not iceberg, but ICE Burr. What do you think about that?
Oh no, I love that. Ice burr. And just a quick comment.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to actually help the investor to one, brainstorm,
Mm-hmm.
research, and help in the reselling because by brainstorming ideas for potential properties, the investors are basically going to gain an understanding of the market and find those undervalued properties, thereby causing them to, or causing us, I'm going to include myself, causing us to have more equity in the property once the the rehab has gone forth. You take it from so from one price point, we can say $100,000 to now you're booming over that, and so it's going to help with the research and a lot of people that start on the path of investing. We always think, oh, I want to make a lot of money. It takes research and it takes patience, and you'll have a keen eye, especially what's going on in your current market.
I like what
So
you were
yeah,
doing
this
with
is going
that.
to be a good room.
I like what you were doing that.
Hmm.
You said brainstorm, research,
Yeah,
and
and reselling.
ooh, reselling. All right. You're doing
Yeah.
with giving us another Burr acronym. All right. Reselling. Look at you.
Yeah,
Keep it up, girl.
yeah.
Listen, I'm going to use all of
Yes,
that.
sir.
I'm going to use
I
all of
agree.
that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to get out of here. I want to thank you so much for doing this, but I need to do one more piece of math for you. What if we did this for the year? Okay, real estate investors, home buyers, this piece of math is for you. Here's what you need to see. On this loan, if I prepay the $2,900 and I get to pay $27,000 less, I need to show you what's going to happen here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our numbers up. 27,894.34 divided by what I'm prepaying, 2,000. Well, it's a little less than two because I have to do the 234.85. Give me a little shortcut here. 234.85. That's already been paid. That's part of this. So I'm paying the rest of the 29.23. Okay, that's what I'm really doing. But just for time's sake, we're going to take the 27,894.34 and divide it by the 29 divided by 29.23.82 and equals, then we multiply that by 100. Boom. Still 954% return on your money. I invest 29.23. I get out 27,894 in interest I don't have to pay. That is a 954% return. Now, Some of you will run into people. If you do this math for a real estate investor, they're going to come right back at you. And they're going to give you exactly what the whole world is teaching on this. Here's what the whole world is teaching on this. Any money you prepay, you're only earning at that interest rate. And the answer is yes, they are correct. They're going to tell you it's not 954%, it's only 8%. Yeah, watch this. Because here's what we're saying. When you do the math and do it right, it is not 954% as soon as you prepay the money. I will agree with that. But as you continue to pay the loan, you're going to realize for this 29-23, 954% return on your money in just 12 months. In just 12 months. Because 12 months from now, you'll be here. You'll be online. You'll be down to where you owe $343,000 instead of $347,000, and it's going to cost you $27,000 less to get here in 1 year than if you ignored this and paid the minimum over the next 2 years and pay your loan down by $6,000 and give the bank $55,000 in interest. So I can't think of a reason. I can't think of any reason why, if I had the money, I would pay $55,546.02 in interest just to pay this loan down by $6,090 when I don't have to. If I just prepaid some of that money, even about half the money, just $2,900 or so, if I prepaid the $2,900, I would be paid down to here in 1 year instead of 2. If I don't do anything else, it still saves me $27,000 in interest I don't have to pay to get from point A to point B. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here today. We're getting ready to cut out. Uh-oh, I missed that hand. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to tell you, Just D wants to come up. I didn't know.
Come
We're
on, Just D.
at the top of the hour, folks. All right, so
because I'm getting ready to get out of here. Just D, come on up.
Let me bring her up. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Come on, Just D. Come on up here. We'd love to have you on the stage today before we get out of here. All right. And we might have waited too long. Got something else going on. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back on Friday. We're going to be talking about the Burr method. But one last time, I need to take you through the process of what you can do. Number one, get a savings and earnings report. Go to pillmethod.com. Okay. I'm sorry. ICE10K.com. The same link that you see up here. ICE10K.com. All right. And then click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. When you click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report, here's what comes up. Here are your instructions on the left. And then as you take a look at your instructions, read through them and fill out your information. That is step one. And then you verify your email address, and then that will get you into step two. Put in your financial information, and someone from my staff will give you a call, confirm that information, and develop for you a savings and earnings report so you can know the month, day, and year you'll be debt free and how much interest you can save. And then if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, they'll set you up for a consultation. And our consultations are only $150 for the first hour, and they're guaranteed. Yes, guaranteed. If you're not satisfied with the information you receive in that consultation, just let us know. We'll give you $150 right back before we get off the phone, before we get off our Zoom, because we're going to Zoom all of this. We do most of our consultations via Zoom, but before the Zoom is over, If you didn't get $150 worth, let me know. We'll send it right back to you before the Zoom is over. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, so get your savings and earnings report. Not only that, but if you like the information you received today, go and back to the same digital business card, ice10k.com, and click on right down here. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. Become an affiliate. Click on Become an Affiliate. Okay? Click that. When you and then fill out this information. Takes about 15 seconds. Tell us how you want to be paid, and then click Submit and become an affiliate. You can make anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month or more by becoming an affiliate. And we have trainings on affiliate training periodically as well. The last thing we want to talk to you about today is buy my book. Go ahead and get the book. I'm going to put a picture of the book on the screen so that you guys can see that. All right. All right. Wait, let me take this off. All right. Do some serious damage, she says. Nope, I want that back. Comments. There we go. Take that off. All right. So now we're going to put picture of the book on. Okay, it's been a bestseller on Amazon at least 6 different times. Go ahead and get the book today. So those are your 3 calls to action. Get the book, become an affiliate, and get your savings and earnings report. And that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. And are there any questions or comments before we go? All right. Well, the last thing we're going to do is hear from, we're going to also hear from E.T., the hip hop preacher, who paid off his mortgage in record time using the P.I.L.L method. And we were so happy he allowed us to record that and use that so that he can inspire more people to get their savings and earnings report. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone as the last thing we hear is from E.T., the hip hop preacher. Dr. Eric Thomas comes to us with his short testimony here. All right. See you again on Friday where we're talking about the Bird method. Talk to you.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.